I'm live. Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 5th. It is 6:20 right now. Market's going to open in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just a few more things here to update. All right, looks good. Last thing down here. And looks like we're good to go. So let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, link is sent out. And as people start to join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. Going down to the 2-hour. Down to the 1-hour. Down to the 30-minute. Down to the 15. Down to the 10-minute. Right back down to the 1-minute. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 5th, 6:24 right now. Market's going to open up in about 6 minutes. I marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 41,123, and the closest level of liquidity below is at 41,023. I believe we had news this morning, so let me check the calendar real quick. We had news at 5, so 4:30, 5:15, 5:30. 4:30, 5:15. Let's see. 4:30, 5:15, 5:30. It's a big candle right here. Then we have more news at 6:45, 6:45, 7, and 7:30. A lot of news today. All right, guys, give me 1 second. All right, guys, so I've marked up liquidity over here. Market's going to open up in about 4 minutes. Let's see. First level of liquidity is at 41,123, and the lower level right here at 41,023. Ironically, they're 100 points off from each other. It's interesting. Looking over here at our, see our SR chart, mark up some zones over here. Going down to the 1 minute. All right, it's pretty much covered. See where our zones are marked up right here on our SR chart. Price is actually consolidating right here between these two zones right now. Looking over here at our clean chart, I'll come back to that a little later once market opens so we can see where the structure is at. But all right, so we got everything here marked up. Looks like we're good. I'll tell you guys where the 10-minute move is going to happen today. So just pay attention in the next couple of minutes, guys. I'm just holding back from telling you guys right away because I want you guys to have the heads up before people on the YouTube stream, of course. So I'll tell you guys shortly in about a minute, right before market open. First level of liquidity right here got hit pre-market. So we got that one right there. Right at the sessions though, so not really one that I'd necessarily be taking. All right, we got market opening up in about a minute. And the 100-point move for today is going to be for a buy. Just a heads up, guys. So I'll be looking for that buy today. We got 48 seconds left on the chart. Market opening up shortly. We got 30 seconds till market open. We got 20 seconds till market open. 10 seconds. Market is opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Order
Market is now
filled.
open. So I've got this marked up right here. Make sure everything's proper. That looks good. 231. Just quick. 231. All right, so I'll come back to this a little later, guys. Probably gonna take a while for it to push through, but anyways, we currently have a bullish bias right now. 100-point moves for a buy. I'm gonna look for this to maybe swing up, swing back down, and provide opportunity for a market flow entry. We got news at 6:45, so it's coming up pretty soon. Again, if I get price to swing down, bounce off the pivot and swing right back up, there'll be a possible entry right here for a market flow. So watching right here. Price coming down real quick. We got 30 seconds left on this chart. If this swings right back up, this will be a market flow entry. Candle's got 20 seconds left on it. 15 seconds. 10 seconds does not look like we're going to get a market flow here. All right, no market flow entry right here. Unfortunately, price is right in between the red flags right here. So if price does swing back up, we're not really going to have much opportunity for any entries. There's too many red flags down here. We got a pending sell signal. Pending sell signal right here. So if that sell signal closes, we'll have to wait for it to swing back up in order for us to have an entry for market flow. All right. So if this becomes the case, we might be able to look for some market flows for a sell if the sell signal here closes. But at this very moment, it has not closed yet. About 4 seconds left on this candle. See if it swings back up from here. So the sell signal did close. We may have possible opportunity for a market flow. The only problem with this here is that there's a bunch of red flags. We have the sessions, or not the sessions, we have the news price right here. And these are all high impact news events from this morning. So we had the 5:15, 5:30 news down here. It's not exactly an area you want to trade in. Typically, we ignore the news if it's low impact, but these are high impact news events. So no entries here yet. Let's see where this goes.
Order filled.
Let's see. So what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for price to retrace up and come back down. The only problem is that we have so many red flags right here. So I probably won't be able to take anything in this little area. We have the sessions, or not the sessions, we have the liquidity down here. Liquidity is getting hit. So that first level of liquidity right there at 41,023 just got hit. And let's see where this continues to go. There's a lot of liquidity down here. Let's go our SR chart. Price is respecting the zones right here. Still dumping super heavy. Let me check the news from this morning. So the news from this morning was a bit mixed. We have some more high impact news right here at 6:45. The news here is forecasted to be positive, so I think this here is a manipulated push to the downside. I think this here is just coming down slightly, and as we get closer to news right here at 6:45, it's probably going to spike right back up if it is positive. We're pretty much hitting all the liquidity down here. So this liquidity got hit. If you guys took that level, full TP. If you take this level right here, also full TP. This one down here, full TP as well. So basically 3 back-to-back liquidity pushes all hit. First one right there, second one right there, third one right here, right at the sessions. And then we have a fourth one right here that's currently running. That one also hit TP right there. So if you guys took any of those liquidity pushes, pretty much all of them push straight to TP. Looks like the range is between the 41,150. I'll mark that up over here. So the 4150 and the 4950 down below. All right, so this looks like the current range for the day. Sorry, one second, guys. I'm gonna disconnect, reconnect my Apex accounts or my NinjaTrader. Why does that? It's been happening a lot more lately. I don't know if you guys are having issues with your NinjaTrader, but if you guys hear that ding in the background, it's like my NinjaTrader disconnecting and reconnecting. All right, so we don't have any entries here yet for market flow. Again, I'm looking for price to swing up, swing back down. The only problem is that there's so many red flags around this area, and then on top of that, we have the news right here. There's just a bunch of red flags. Price is currently at the sessions. We have price pushing down to the next levels of liquidity, but there's a bunch of sessions down here, so it's all considered a red flag for the most part. Yeah, the charts are actually a pretty big mess today. So you guys can see over here, we have opening price, sessions, news price, news price, news price, sessions, sessions, sessions. So we have the Asia low right here, we have the New York low right here, and we have the London low right here as well. So we got a lot of session high lows pretty much right near price. Nice. Jamie caught some liquidity right there. Solid work, Jamie. Liquidity's been pretty solid lately. I mean, if you guys are taking in the proper direction, it's been working pretty well. We have liquidity right here again getting hit. It's right at the sessions though, so it's a little tricky. All right, so I'm still looking for entry here. Um, Again, this market is not really moving too smoothly. We have a lot of high impact news today again, so be careful for that. We got news right here at 6:45, 6:38 right now, so we still have time for entry, but we're getting pretty close to the news event, which is going to happen up. It's going to come up pretty shortly. So the news event at 6:45 is, let's see, we have S&P Global Services PMI and S&P Global Composite PMI. Two high impact news events right here. And then at 7 o'clock, we have ISM Services PMI. So prices dumped pretty heavy. I think our 100-point move did not hit today. Yeah, didn't hit today, which is all good. This is the first loss for this week for the 100-point move. We had a 100-point win on Tuesday, 100-point win on Wednesday, and then today is the first loss. Like I said with the strategy, guys, for the 100-point move, it's a slightly above break-even strategy. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. Typically, that strategy is supposed to typically hit once or twice a week net wins. So it comes up every day, Monday through Friday, 5 times, 5 attempts for entry, but it typically is net positive 1 or 2 wins. So it's currently net positive right now, 1 win, which is still pretty good. Each trade I take is only 1,500 risk, so it's not really. I'm still net positive for the week. So I was net positive yesterday, plus 3,000 for that one specific strategy. Today was one loss, so I'm still net positive 1,500. All right, so let's see what we got here. We got price pushing past liquidity. It's currently at the sessions. You guys can see down here, there's a bunch of sessions down here. We have the Asia low, we have the New York low, and we have the London low down below. I'm looking for a market flow entry here, but I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get one, honestly, because you guys can see it's going to be too close to the sessions down here. So, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, there may be a market flow on this next candle, but it's going to be pretty tight. It's going to be right at the session. So I don't think I'm going to be able to take this down here. It's right at the sessions. It's not going to be possible for us to get into this entry without it touching the sessions. So no entry here for market flow yet. There's still opportunity, but there's no entry here yet. So you guys can see the zones over here I drew from the SR. It's I mean, it's pretty much respecting the zones. It's currently down below. No entry here yet. So this is going to be a tough day to trade, guys. Looking at the market right now, I don't know if we're going to be able to get really any entries because you guys can see over here that the range is so big, but within that range, there's so many red flags. So in order for us to really have any entries, we actually need price to push above and past this area. And as you guys can see, it's a pretty big push. So we'll see how the news catalyst moves. You can see price here is correcting back up. It's doing exactly what I mentioned earlier. I said we have high impact news at 7 o'clock, 6:45. It's S&P Global Services PMI, which is high impact. It's forecasted to be positive. So that's why I told you guys earlier, this is probably going to be a huge fake out. Like pretty much our 100-point move today got caught in a fake out because it just faked out to the bottom to manipulate price. And now it's correcting right back up because we have news right here at 6:45. It's positive. So you're getting a push right back up right here, which is all good. I mean, it's all part of the game, right? When you guys trade this stuff, like you can either trade news, you can avoid news. Today's a super heavy news day. They kind of jam-packed a lot of the news today because it was a holiday, Labor Day on Monday, and it is NFP. So they have to release this data, but they are stacking them on certain days, like today. So we currently have a buy signal right here, but in order for us to have an entry, we need price to push past the pivots. Even if price was to push past the pivots, we still have all of these red flags up here, right? So, I mean, it wouldn't really make a huge difference if and when it did push past that area. About 2 minutes till news. See what happens here. So we got news in about a minute, guys. Again, it's high impact news, S&P Global Services PMI, and composite PMI. So services PMI, which is high impact, is forecasted to be positive. Composite PMI is forecasted to be slightly negative. We'll see what happens here, but I think price is going to be pushing up. So I think ideally price is actually going to be pushing up. I think price will spike on this candle right here, next candle. So I don't recommend anybody YOLO into this trade, but I'm expecting a spike to happen here at 6:45. Then we have gas stock change over there at 7:30. And then at 7 o'clock, we have some more news. We have ISM services PMI. So we got news happening right about now. Maybe we're not going to get a spike. Let's see. So we didn't get a spike here, but we're probably going to get. So they're both positive. It's pretty much what I expected. I think everybody expected that too. So it already pushed up slightly below, or when it was down here. The big candle actually came down right here. I think there's going to be a late reaction. So I think price here will probably just consolidate a little bit because it's already been pushed up. You can see down here it pushed up. So I think price might just range and consolidate around this area for a while before it actually climbs up higher. But I do think price will climb up higher. Might not happen right now, but I think at some point today it's going to keep climbing up higher. Otherwise, I think it's just going to consolidate around this area for now. It's probably going to consolidate until the other high impact news over here at 7, which is ISM. ISM Services PMI. They're all inflation news. So S&P Global Services PMI inflation news, Global Composite PMI inflation news, ISM Services PMI inflation news. So I think again right here, price will probably range back to the bottom right here. It looks like price is actually ranging right here right now. So at this point, this is the current range. Basically, price will come down a little bit to get closer to news, climb right back up. There's just nowhere for me to take trades here, even if we were to have some sort of opportunity. You can see down here, price is pretty much stuck. So let's see. Price is currently ranging at the 41,000 point. So I'll put a line right there, 41,000. There you go. You guys can see the range a little more clearly right there. So just look out for this area. This is pretty much where price is ranging from in between. Whenever price gets out of this area, like it did right here, look out for the fake out. I pull right back into that range. Yeah, I'm having a hard time adjusting to the time here. I'm here in Cancun right now, guys, if you guys weren't on the live yesterday. So it's 2 hour difference. So it's technically 8 o'clock here, but I had to wake up at obviously 6. Uh, 2 hours ahead to get ready for this live session. I was expecting the market to be like this, honestly, today because I looked at the calendar last night and I was like, man, there's so many news events today. So if you look at the news events, usually not all these news events happen on the same day, but because this was a holiday week and it is NFP week, they have to release this data and pretty much stack everything on one day, or not everything, but a lot of the stuff here. So you can see there's a lot of high impact news that came out today. A lot of the pre-market stuff actually pushed price pretty decently. Obviously, these right here during the time are not as active. All right, guys, we'll keep looking for opportunity here. The let's see. News event's going to happen in about 10 minutes, 11 minutes actually. And we're just going to have to wait. All right, guys. So if you guys have any questions right now, feel free to hop into the chat. As you guys can see, price is not really going anywhere. I've marked up structure over here. You can see the higher resistance is up here at 41,000. Lower support over here is at 40,900. I'm not really expecting too much to happen here. Price is probably going to keep consolidating and ranging between this area until the 7 o'clock news. 7 o'clock news is going to be the last high impact news for the day. So once we get that over here, ISM Services PMI forecasted to be negative. I think price is going to come down slightly, and then I think it's going to correct back up. So I think it's going to go sideways, might slop down a little bit, but then it's going to come back up towards the end of the session. There's just not much volatility here. There's volatility here on open. This is what we were trying to catch with the 100-point move initially, but now it's just going sideways, of course. So let's see what happens here. Dang. Steven, did he miss the liquidity push? There's a lot of liquidity pushes that came up today, guys. So if you guys, I think if you guys took any of the liquidity pushes that weren't at the sessions, they all would have hit CP. It's been hitting pretty much every day this week, pretty much every day this month and last month. So I mean, if you guys want to test your hand at liquidity, I mean, feel free. Um, I'll continue to mark them up in the morning. It's just it's hard to tell which one's going to hit, which one's not going to hit because sometimes it'll be overextended or a lot of them hit pre-market. So I mean, I don't technically trade pre-market very much, but a lot of them typically hit pre-market and they blast right through on market open. Um, it's all good, Steven. You'll find another one. Probably not today, but you will see more. So I'll mark up another level of liquidity right here and down here. See, Drew's asking what's NFP projected to be. Let me check real quick. So looking at NFP for Friday, NFP is forecasted to be positive, very positive. So it was 114 last month. This month it's forecasted to be 160. So it's a pretty big jump. I was expecting it to be positive anyways. And what I typically like to do is I'll check the news events for this week. So I'll be like, okay, what was like the leading the high impact news events that will lead NFP. So ISM manufacturing PMI negative on Tuesday. Joel Chubb openings also negative. Continuing jobless claims positive. Initial jobless claims positive. So it's a bit of a toss up, honestly. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be positive though. For me personally, I think it's gonna be positive. It's forecasted to be positive. But it's not as clear as it normally is. Usually, like a lot of these news events will kind of line up with NFP, and then you can pretty much just guess that it's going to be positive. But yeah, my guess is that it's going to be positive. And yeah, probably expect a push to the upside. I think so from September up until like the end of the year, I think price is going to continue to climb up higher because we do have the elections coming up. And obviously, they're going to say anything. The presidential candidates, whether it be Kamala or Trump, they're going to say whatever they can to win your vote. So it's going to be all positive. They're going to be cutting interest rates this month. Everything's supposed to be like beneficial. So we'll see. Drew's trying to catch that 1,000 point move, huh? Just hit buy and just pray it comes up. See, Andre's asking, can we trade news with Apex? You can trade news on an eval account. Um, I don't think you can trade news on a funded account though. I think there's like a time period. You can't trade like I think 3 minutes before, 3 minutes after. I mean, I wouldn't even risk it, honestly. If you're an eval though, if you're an eval and then you have the promo, like the promo is so good right now. Well, I mean, it's been so good for like the past couple months. Honestly, like I only tell this to a few people and I don't really recommend it, but if you want to pass some evals, I would get some really cheap evals for like 40 bucks, like a 300K account and trade NFP, right? I'll never advise you guys to do this, but if you want to be on the riskier side and you just want to get a funded account with Apex like right away, you can literally just wait till 5:30 tomorrow, 5:29, hit buy and set your TP to whatever the profit target is. I think profit target is 117 points with 35 contracts on a 300K account. So I'm never going to advise you guys to do that, but if you guys want to take the risk, it's a $40 account. You're going to risk 40 bucks to get a 300K account funded, right? So you can buy and you guys can use the promo code. So let me give you guys a promo code again because it works. Trust me, it works. Done it before. So I know it works. Um, Here, I'll just put the promo. Where's the promo code at? Here, I'll put this over here, guys, in the announcements. Also put it over here in the chat. And I'll also put it over here in the Discord. I don't know if this will load up, but actually I'm not gonna put it in the Discord. It's gonna flood the Discord. So yeah, guys, if you guys want to do that, feel free to do it. There's no guarantee it's gonna work though, so just keep that in mind, guys. There's no guarantee it's gonna work, but I know people who have done it and it works. Didn't even done it myself. All right, guys, there's nothing going on in the market. So you guys can see right here, it's literally going sideways back and forth. So I'm not sure if we're really going to have much opportunity for the day. If price doesn't push out of this area, I'm probably not going to be on this live session for too long because there's just no need for us to be on here. Again, if we want to take some entries, we need price to really push out of this area. So, the thing that you're going to be looking for here is you're going to be looking for price to break below and continue dropping because you need to get away from all the red flags, or you need price to push up all the way up here, right? Which is probably not going to, it's just not going to work. See, what's up, Nick? Nick's here. Nick said, hey everyone, been a couple weeks, been trading NQ a lot lately. YM wasn't giving me the movement I wanted. Hope all's well, Sean. Yeah, definitely, Nick. I mean, YM is pretty much the same. It hasn't really changed much. We're in the like first couple weeks, or we're in the first week of September, so probably not going to expect too much of a change until like mid-September, maybe late September. But yeah, it's hit or miss. It's really hit or miss. Especially with this week because it's NFP plus we had the Labor Day holiday on Monday. Just hasn't really been providing opportunities. All right, we got the high impact news event right here at 7 o'clock, guys. I think this will hopefully push price away from where it's currently at. I don't really care where price goes, whether it goes up or whether it goes down. I just need price to get out of this area right now. So I need price to push below here. Yeah, Nick said summer YM is something I think I'm going to lay off from now on. Once it's deep into summer months, it gets choppy. Yeah, I agree 100%. Like you can see right here, Nick, it's pretty clear. Like you haven't been here for a while, so like I've been pretty much having a clean chart where I just mark up structure, not even structure, just support and resistance, like where price is ranging, and it respects it pretty nicely. I think one thing that we could maybe use to our advantage during the summer, I'm gonna have to put together some sort of strategy, is trading the fake outs, right? Because it works pretty well. I mean, it's a sideways move. And basically, whenever price pushes out, you can kind of ride it back into the range. I just got to figure out what the catalyst is for the swing down, or like whether it's just a rejection, because it doesn't always come up with like a V1 variation or anything like that. It's it's just a sideways move. So, once we can figure out like what the catalyst is to like look for entry here, because it's pretty obvious. I mark up the structure here and you can see it like, for example, right here. I wouldn't use this as an example because this is a news candle. This is a high impact news event. ISM services PMI was positive like anticipated. So it's pushing up just like we thought it would. But like basically whenever it's not a news event and price pushes out of the range, typically pulls right back into the range, or eventually it does. Like right here, this could be a possible fake out. Price just climbing up slightly, and then it'll probably swing right back down. We got so many red flags down here. Oh, man, this market. It's crazy. If you guys look at this here, there's just so many things on the chart. Like there's nowhere you can really trade. If price pushes up here, we have all of these red flags. If price pushes down here, we have all of these red flags. We need price to push really far below, we need price to push really far above. But then again, there's not enough volatility to even get that far. So I guess we'll see what happens here. Nice. Okay, yeah. So Nick said he's been watching the YouTube every day, so he's still up to date, which is good. I mean, it's always good to be up to date so that you understand how the market's moving, whether you trade with me or not. I think just following my analysis kind of just opens up your eyes to a lot of things. I don't know what it is, but well, I don't follow anybody myself, but I know for a lot of you guys here or a lot of other people, even the ones that don't trade my strategies, a lot of you guys just like sitting on this live session to listen to my analysis because it kind of just opens up your ideas. Sometimes you see like these ranges here, like I mentioned, and it gives you like it just lights a light bulb in your head, and you're like, oh yeah, obviously you can trade within those ranges, or you can just trade it. You could trade the fake outs basically, because truly you can. Like for example, if we didn't have this range down here or this middle one, you can see this range is still within the area. So if you were to do that, you can literally trade within the range within your own analysis, depending on what you want to trade. So like I said before in the past, guys, you guys don't have to use my strategies. My strategies are just a foundation. So if you don't know what type of strategies to use, or you don't know what to look at or what to follow, I'm always going to point out certain things. Like for example, right here, we have a double body rejection. It's also an engulfing pattern right there, or an engulfing candle if it closes below. Um, one second, guys. Sorry, guys. How to do something real quick. But yeah, there's a possible reversal pattern right here. The only problem is that it's against the trend. So the way that I trade is I momentum trade in the direction of the trend. So I typically wouldn't take something that's counter trend like this. But if you did want to take something counter trend, there is a double body rejection right here. It looks like it's possibly going to be a CV pattern, and this will indicate that price is going to swing back down. Right. And there you go. Price starts to swing back down. So if you guys want to trade your own way, or if you guys want to use my patterns or use my analysis or anything like that, feel free. But for me, I typically only trade in the direction of the trend and in the direction of momentum. So because the trend is slightly bullish right now, momentum is bullish, not necessarily looking for any sells right now. I'm looking for some buys. So what I'd be looking for here, I might be okay taking a market flow entry here, depending on however this plays through. So I might have to just ignore the news price for today because there's just too many red flags here. There's going to be certain red flags that obviously I want to avoid, which would be the sessions and the opening price. But the news price over here, I think I can maybe trade within this because it's just that there's not really many opportunities here for us to look for entry. And again, I'm just looking for like one solid entry a day. I'm looking for like one or two solid entries a day because that's that's pretty much what I'm aiming for. Just one good trade per day. Two if I'm lucky, but one good trade per day is enough. Oscar's asking what was the news. The news was positive. It was for ISM services PMI, high impact news right here. It was ISM services PMI at 7 o'clock, high impact, positive news. It's inflation news. and it did pretty much what we expected. So I forecasted it to be positive. I'm pretty much forecasted this to swing back up like at the beginning of the session. So when price came down right here, I was like, oh, this is going to be manipulation because all the news is positive. So it's going to have to swing back up. And that's pretty much what happened. Price came down to the sessions right here, swung back up, and then it continued climbing from there. At this point right here, there's just not really much going on. Let's see, so at the 150 mark, I'll just mark up structure right there. So at the 100, sorry guys, 1 second. All right. So we got price that's just it's not really doing much. Still looking for a possible market flow here. The only problem is that there's not very much volatility. And whenever the volatility does come up, it's typically going to be not in our favor. All right, so I'll be watching right here. Possible market flow entry if it swings back up. Got 30 seconds left here. So if this candle swings back up green, it'll be a possible market flow entry. I'm watching for it right here. All right, Michael just joined the room. Drop my mouse. All right, there's no entry right here. I was looking for that possible market flow. What happened to my thing? Pivots. There we go. All right, no entry here right now. We have a pending sell signal, so probably gonna hold off on any entries here. There may be a market flow though, so if it swings back up, this could be a possible market flow for a buy. All right, let me see if I get in right here. I got in a little early, guys. Not sure if, okay, it would have been good right there. So there goes a market flow right there. It's currently running in profit.
Order submitted.
Volatility is a little low right now. Let me see, it's at 66. Profit target should be at 68. Let's see if I could slide this up a little higher. Let's leave it as is. So I'll leave it as is right here. The entry wasn't as where it should have been. It's not perfect. But I'll just leave it at wherever my Ninja Trader got in from. Let's see. Still in position right now. Where's my entry at? I'm trying to figure out. Okay, it's right here. That's why. So I'm still in the position right now. It is still active. We have a pending sell. Okay, it stopped me out. It's all good.
Order filled.
And that's what I was saying earlier. So this is the market that we don't like. It's a sideways market. When the volatility does come up, it ends up not really working in our favor. So I was hoping this here was going to bounce off and then swing right back up. But unfortunately, it just ended up coming back down further. So unfortunately, this trade right here lost. This is a market flow that I tried to take. Literally came down, came up, came right back down further. I really think we might have to adjust the TP stop loss, guys. I don't want to adjust it too quickly. Again, like I said, we're going into the September month, so we're going into the fall season, and I wouldn't be surprised if this here just swings right back up. It's just every time we get into a position, the volatility doesn't push in our favor. It pushes against it, and then it pushes right back up. The good thing about this is that I am still taking half risk. So, I mean, it's only a $500 loss, not that bad. So if I do take a second trade, it'll it'll obviously bounce back in profit. But at this very moment, um, did not hit. So let me put this over here real quick. This unfortunately was a loss, which is all good. This was an high-low scalp. This is a the entry came up around the same time too. Go figure, 710. All right, so I'll look for another entry here. Again, there's just not very much movement here. So we got that. We still have the pending sell signal right here. In order for me to have another entry, I would need the sell signal here to close, have another buy signal, and then have it swing back up higher. But you guys can see here, there's just no consistency with the volatility, which is really what's throwing us off because we need volatility that continues to climb. So let me go over here to the clean chart. So you guys can see how it's just a choppy market. It's been like this for the past couple of months, August up until now. It's just choppy. And you should get a sideways move, and then price ends up breaking out in one direction, but realistically, it's just ranging, right? In order for our strategies here to really work well, we need to be in a trending market with momentum. So, for example, here, I'm okay with the sells, but I need price to be consistently coming down, or vice versa. If price is going up, I need price to consistently climb up. But because we're stuck in a market like this that just keeps going back and forth, it's really tough to take any directional moves because there's no direction. So we have a sell signal right here. I'll look for another opportunity here, possibly for a sell. But if not, then I'll just wait for the next opportunity here to come up after. And I keep going back and forth between market orders and pending orders. Yesterday, I actually got caught in an entry that wasn't it just wasn't a valid entry. I put a pending order there, price swung up before it touched the pivot, triggered my order, went slightly in profit, and then it came right back down heavily. So I'll look for the next opportunity here. And again, there's just a bunch of red flags around this whole area. This one right here technically could have been avoided because of the news price. But like I said, for today, there's just too many red flags that the news could be given less impact than say the sessions here. The sessions is something that I probably would avoid for sure. So here's the reason why I thought this here would have been a good trade. See how there's a higher high right here? This would have been, well, it was liquidity. So I was hoping that this here would bounce off the pivot, shoot back up to retest the liquidity right here and blast through it. So with the entries I take, I do have analysis behind it. I'm not just taking like random market flow entries. I'm taking them because I saw a higher high right here, and I was expecting it to bounce off the pivot and come right back up to break through it. But, unfortunately didn't happen that way. And that's just how the market goes sometimes. We have more liquidity down here. So we have liquidity on this upper end. We have liquidity on this lower end. I was looking for a possible market flow, but price is right here at the sessions. So again, it's just not in a good area right now. All right. So let's see what we got here. There's just not really much direction here. Again, prices down below this point. I mean, I don't even need to put these lines on here. Like, I could just turn on the levels. Okay, so you guys can see the levels right here. There's just not really much going on. So you can see right here, this is where the consolidation was happening. You can see the fake out happen right here. Price consolidated here for a bit, pushed up heavily, consolidated for a little bit, pushed back down, back into consolidation down here. So it's respecting this like lower zone right here, but like I said, there's just not much going on. It's probably just going to consolidate here for a little bit before it ends up pushing above or pushing below. No opportunity here yet. All right. It's we'll wait. Gary's asking, what is your lot size on a 300K account? I'm using 7 contracts on my 300K accounts, on all my PA accounts. Gary, same contract size I've always used. Um, Brock said, cheers, guys. Yeah, no, definitely Brock. Same here. I just ate that one. I'm gonna see if I could find another one here, but there's just no direction, so it's tough. Like I'm waiting for the direction to come off. The thing with the market is that it seems like there's not really much direction in the morning right now, right? The direction is starting to happen a little later, like towards 8 o'clock. Once I get back, I will probably analyze a little further to see like, if that's the case, then this might be a dead period of trade, right? Between 6:30 and 8. Uh, Initially, this was a like perfect time to trade, 6:30 and 8. But if this is the case where the market just continues to go sideways right here, then we might have to shift to a later time. Because here, let me see. Let's go to like yesterday's market. Right. Okay. So, I mean, it's not always the case. So yesterday's market was actually pretty decent. So you can see over here, um, pretty directional push between 6:30 and 8 o'clock, right? We traded between 6:30 and 8, and it was a pretty directional push. So it's not the case where that just happens every day. But what I've noticed is that from 8 until like later, it moves even more directional. So that's like Wednesday's market. And I'm still looking for entries here, guys. There's just nothing for us to take right now. I'll look for this to close back up. We have a buy signal. So if it climbs back up, I'll look for another market flow to the upside. Well, let's go back to see Tuesday real quick. So on Tuesday over here, see how this thing consolidated literally the entire time? So there was movement here like early in the morning, 6:30 up until 7. There was a directional push right there. And then after that, it like literally, you can see over here, it just went sideways. So there's no consistency. And it's tough to really know when it's a good time to trade because there's just no consistency. Again, we are still technically in the summer market. So by the time, hopefully by next week or if the week after, we'll start to have some direction. Otherwise, I'll have to look for some different uh, options for us with regard to, trading time and stuff. All right, so I'm looking for a possible market flow entry here, right here. We have a buy signal. I'm looking for price to break above the pivots here and climb up higher and then retrace and then possibly provide for some entry here. But at this very moment, there's just nothing here right now. This is actually going to set up for a pretty good opportunity because we're going to be away from the news price up here, away from the news price down here. There can be possible opportunity here for price to swing back up. We have a buy signal here. I'm looking for it to push up, retrace, and climb up higher. Just looking for some sort of direction, even if it has to be direction within the range here. And by range, I mean this higher high and this lower low. So pretty much price is within the range right now. This area and this area. So I'm going to see if I can catch this as it continues to climb up higher from where it's currently at. All right, so if this swings down red and comes back up, bounce off the pivot, this will be another opportunity for a market flow. So I'll be looking for a possible market flow here. See if the volatility keeps up. 43 seconds on this candle. It's got a lot of time. All right, so if this swings back up green, I'll be taking this for a market flow. Pending order right there.
Order submitted.
All right, so it's filled.
Order submitted.
So the entry is running right now. It's pushing up. It's actually a pretty good setup. So buy signal, candle right here came down, bounced off the pivot, swung back up higher. I don't know if it closed me out. It's supposed to move my stop loss and profit. See my ninja. Let's push it higher. All right, there we go. Full TP on that trade. So back to break even. Like I said, this is pretty much what we've been dealing with all summer. It's super annoying. I just end up at break even most days. We'll see if we can find another entry here, but I'm basically at break even for the day, which is not bad, but it's not great. I'm trying to make money here. I'm not trying to be at break even pretty much every day. So we are back at break even for the day. So there we go. Entry happened at 7:23. One loss, one win. Like I'm not trying to take like 20 trades. I'm trying to take like one or two trades and being in net wins. It's just, once we get the direction, it helps, but we just haven't had much direction lately, which is super annoying. All right, so we're break even for the day. We had one small loss over here with the first trade, and then obviously the win right here. So I'll see if we could find another entry here. I don't know if we're gonna get another one. It's almost 7:30 right now. So, as we get closer and closer to 8 o'clock, again, in order for me to have another entry, I would need price to retrace, provide me a sell signal, then another buy signal, and then push up. Looking back to the entry from earlier over here, this was technically not a good entry because it was at the news price. But again, like I said, because of the market conditions, I had to make some adjustments here. But if I, again, would have just waited for this one, would have been solid. So maybe it's just my impatience that's kind of testing me on these trades because this one could have been avoided, but it looked good. So my analysis still worked out on this one. I'm still going to consider this a good loss from this morning. But this one over here was perfect. Buy signal, price came up, retraced super heavily, swung back up, filled, and then went straight to TP on the next candle. So good loss and a good win right here. Analysis was fit. The only thing here is that the only mistake I think I made was because I traded where the news price was. But sometimes you just have to take the risk. What I'm glad is that we hit back to break even here. Nice. Oscar caught a 68-point move off the 5-minute rejection. So Oscar pretty much did the same thing we did. And he took it on the 5-minute. So he took a 68-point win versus 15 points that we just took there. Yeah, Rashida said she only traded her challenge account today, didn't trade the funded. Not bad. Probably let's see. Nice work, Rashida. So Rashida locked in 8,580 for the day. So pretty good profit right there, Rashida. I'll add that to the stuff over here. So it looks like you guys locked in some pretty decent profit. Let's see. So we got David over here. He locked in 601 for the day, all wins. Nice work, David. We have Jamie here. She took the liquidity pushes, locked in 4,264. Nice work, Jamie. And then we have Rashida over here. She locked in. Let me just revert this to a. There we go. There we go. And Rashida locked in total profit of 8,580 for the day. Nice work, Rashida. Yeah, you guys did pretty good. I mean, today wasn't the best day, of course, because of the market conditions, but you guys still locked in some pretty good profit off the analysis. So that's what I like to see, regardless of the fact. I'm at break even, so I don't really have much to show. It's literally break even for me. Took one trade there, made 500, or took one trade here, lost 500. This one over here made 500, so pretty much break even. Let me scroll over here real quick. Let's see. Jason said, or Sam's asking, you can trade news on Top Step eval. I'm not sure. So I'm not going to do that thing that I mentioned to you earlier on Top Step. I don't really know the news on Top Step because I don't use Top Step very much. I'm assuming you can on eval. But so here's the thing. You still have a consistency period for there's still a consistency rule on Top Step. So even if you were to trade news, I don't think you can make like 5 times your profit trading news if like your other days aren't like that. So I know they're a lot more strict with the rules with regard to they just don't want you to yellow the account. But I think you can trade news. You'd still just be within the consistency rule though. So don't quote me on it. I'd probably check out their FAQs or message their support. They're pretty quick with it, getting back to you. But I don't think it's ideal. With Apex, they don't care. With Apex, you can trade news during eval. You can literally YOLO it and pass with like one, the big price spike that happens. But yeah, with Top Step, they do have a consistency rule. I think you have to trade for like 5 days, and then your biggest profit day can't be bigger than your last 3 days or something like that. So yeah, their rules. But the thing with Top Step is that they changed the rules. They've been like updating because they're trying to compete with Apex. So it might be different now. They might be able to like let you pass without the consistency. But when I did trade it with them in the past, um, that was like one of the big rules. And that was like one thing that was annoying to me because it was like you can't have like a big day and then have 3 other days that are small, like this, like today, for example, break even. Like you have 3 break even days and then one big profit day. They wouldn't let you pass. They basically make you continue to trade until it balances out. Yeah, no problem, Sam. Jason said, "Hey, Sean, use your call, set a buy stop and sell stop." Yeah, no, I understand what you did, Jason. So, Jason, basically, what I did with my entry, or for my entry there, the first entry that we lost, what Jason did over here is basically he set his a buy stop and a sell stop at basically my TP and my stop loss. So if it pushed up, he would have rode that up higher, and if it hit the stop loss, he would have rode that down lower, which is a smart move, Jason. Totally understand what you did there. You basically just you caught the direction. I basically set my entry and then you use my entry as your direction to continue following it, which is smart. You guys can do that as well. Um, there's just sometimes where you'll get swiped out. It's what do we call that? We call that a whipsaw. Like for example, right here, Jason, if you did the same thing that you just said, so you had a buy stop or a sell stop, right? So if my TP stop loss is like right here, Jason basically would, when it hits TP, he has a buy stop there. which this is necessary. It's not a bad thing. So like you'd set it up like that. I mean, I would probably do with a bigger TP stop loss because I think 15-15 would be too close. But yeah, basically what Jason did is like he set up his TP stop loss, not sure what your TP stop loss is, and he put a buy stop there. So if it hit the TP, he would just continue climbing it. Or if it hit the stop loss, he would just continue riding it lower, which is smart. That's what I mean about like thinking outside of the box. You guys can use my analysis, use my entries, to your advantage. I'm basically taking the risk. I'm taking the risk by entering the actual trade, and then you can take the risk, or you can just follow up with the risk, depending on whichever direction it goes. All right, we had the news over here at 7:30, guys. It was gas stock change. I'm surprised it pushed up like that. It typically doesn't push up very much. Yeah, no, definitely. Jason said it's good news for it's good for news, but then you have to follow it. Exactly. You have to be actively watching. It's not something you can just set and forget because you can get whipsawed out pretty easily. All right, so we had news right there at 7:30, guys. That was the gas stock change. Let me go back over here to my FX. Um, Actually, no, it was gas stock change. So we had right here, 7:30 gas stock change, and then there's more news over here at 8 o'clock. They basically just push this back. This news event usually happens all together. So all these gas stock change, they happen all at 7:30. But for some reason, they pushed it back today. So they had one gas stock change right here at low impact, and then all the high impact stuff happens later at 8 o'clock. They usually come up at the same time. I think it was because they stacked too much news events on one day that they had to spread them out a little bit, which makes sense. All right, guys, price is just consolidating around this area. So again, this is the range. The upper range is right here. Lower range is right here. The consolidation is happening down here. You can see how price is respecting the SR zones. So I mean, if you wanted to take this, like there's snipe entries you guys can take, or you can take the SR rejections. I think that was one strategy I put together back then. It was called the SR rejections. You can literally trade within the SR zones. But I'll keep looking for entries here. In order for me to have an entry, I need to have a sell signal, which is probably not going to happen anytime soon. So if this sell signal doesn't come up in the next, 5-10 minutes, then I'm probably just going to wrap this up for the day. I'm okay with my break even. I don't need to force another trade today to bring myself back into profit. But if I see something come up, I'll take it. But right now, there's obviously nothing here for us to take. So there's no need to force any trades as we get closer and closer to 8 o'clock. Let me scroll up real quick. So let's see. Um, Glenn is asking, "Good day, Sean. Good to be back. Is that your new office?" No, unfortunately, this is I'm on vacation right now in Cancun. So, or Playa del Carmen. I'm in vacation out here. So this is I'm in the hotel room right now, trading with you guys. I'm here till tomorrow. So tomorrow I'll be heading back. Or tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I'll trade with you guys from here, and then I'll be heading back tomorrow, and then I'll be back in my office on Saturday. So next week we'll be back to our normal trading setup. Hopefully the market will start moving more directional by next week, but you guys can see here it's pretty obvious. I think the levels indicator here helps a lot because you don't have to draw the levels and you can kind of just set it to where you want. Like for example, you have it set to every 50, but if I want to have it set to like every 100, it just spreads it out a little more. You can kind of see where the range is happening, but I think the 50 is a little better because it helps out with sidewaysness. So makes a big difference. See, William's asking, do you think it's a good idea to start recording my trades? Requested my payouts on the first. Do not trade since last Monday. I'm being patient, but also kind of expect they ask me for a video. I said I would wait for approval before trading it. Yeah, so I mean, if you have the opportunity to record your trades, I mean, it's a good idea because Apex has done that before. They don't ask me because I everything is live stream, so they can just pull up my YouTube channel. But yeah, unless you're trading the same way I'm trading, because some people have been questioned by Apex before to show their live session and they just show them my live session because we're taking the same trades basically. So yeah, if you're trading different from me, William, if you can, I would record your trades. Uh, I don't think they'll ask you though, unless you're doing something weird. If you're doing something weird and your profits are kind of like not consistent, then yeah, probably. But if your profits and everything is consistent, they're probably not gonna flag you. They only flag people who have like weird profits. Like for like one day they'll make like $1,000, and then the other day there's no consistency, right, with their profits. Like one day they're making 1,000, the other day they're making like 5,000, and then one day they're having like a 3,000 loss, and it's just not consistent. With my accounts, it's like consistently up like $500, or it's consistently down $500, or it's at break even. That's typically where it's at. Unless we have some back-to-back wins, and I'll have like 1,000, 2,000 profit. But for the most part, all of my profits are pretty much my profits and my losses are consistent. So kind of depends. Yeah, no, definitely. Jason said, yeah, because you did say it was going to go up when news came out. Yeah, and it did. News came out over here. It's just the only reason I know this is because I've traded these markets before, and I think NFP is like one of my favorite weeks to trade because the volatility is usually pretty high, but there's just not much volatility here. You guys can see prices literally going sideways. So if you were to just ignore everything else, like for example, here, I'll just do this real quick. So if I drew a zone right here and I drew a zone down here, and you're pretty much to ignore everything else, I turn off levels. You guys see how clean that is? There's like literally no direction here. This is really the range for the day. But whenever price came down here, I was like, okay, price is gonna fake out, price swing back into the range. And that's pretty much what happened. Price came back down again right here, swung back into the range. Price came down right here, swung back into the range. It's no different. I mean, we've been seeing this pretty much every day. You guys can trade this too. Like if you guys want to trade this type of market, of course, you can always, you can turn on my levels indicator and just look for the fake outs. Look for the fake out. Once you have a confirmation price going to pull back into this area, obviously you can ride that back down. And then same thing with, down here. You see price come below the range, you see a confirmation of it to swing back up, and then you just ride that up. But I don't trade that way. I might have to trade that way or at some point when once this summer season or the summer market's like more consistent and it has like gone back to how it's supposed to be, I'll study pretty much the previous summer. I'll study this stuff. I'll see if I can put something together because I can put a strategy together. Just like it's pretty simple. I just showed you a strategy right now without any actual analysis. I just basically said, look for the fake out, ride it back up into the range. And it's not that difficult. Again, right here, price faked out above it. And you could have basically, once it confirmed that it was coming back down, basically ride it back into the range. Right? It's still riding down right here. It's slow, but it is coming back into the range. So yeah, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. I'm looking at the chart right now. There's just nothing going on. We have a sell signal right here. The only problem with this is that now that we have the news event at 7:30, which was right here, there's just a bunch of news events right here now. So there's not going to be any opportunity for entry. So I'm probably going to wrap this up right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm at break even for the day. So take my break even and probably just wrap this up pretty soon. There's just no opportunity here for me to trade. I probably should have just avoided the trade here because it was at news, but there's just no, I thought there was going to be no opportunities here, but then again, price came down right here and there's opportunity right there, which is perfect. So we have a sell signal right here. Price is coming back down. It's right at the sessions right now at this lower level. Like I said, you can look out for these fake outs. So what I would look out for here, what I'd recommend is look out for the fake out at this lower end. Look for price to come up and then pull back into the range. Because that's probably what's going to happen here. This is probably going to push down a little bit. It's going to fake out at some point, and then it's going to pull back into the range. It's just a matter of time until it happens. There we go. All right, guys. If there's any more questions, feel free to pop into the chat. Again, there's a possible fake out right here, continuation back to the upside, like I just drew. What I would look for is a confirmation. So probably look for price to push back up, break and close above the 41,000 mark right here, and then you could maybe ride this back up higher. But I'm not going to take any more trades for the day. I'm pretty much done. So if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Tomorrow's NFP. So we have I'm hoping the volatility is pretty decent for tomorrow. But yeah, I think I'm going to take my break even for the day and just wrap it up. There's just nothing here for me to take. Even if I wanted to trade up here, like I said, even if I wanted to take something like this, it's going to be tough because there's so many red flags in this area. I just don't want to trade where the news is at because I already got burnt right here earlier this morning. Took the news candle, not the news candle, but this candle touched news price right there. Basically got faked out back into the bottom. And then again, right here, this was a good one, but there was no news here at the time. So it worked out perfect. All right, looks like that confirmation I was telling you guys is coming right here. So I'll kind of see how this here plays out, and we'll see where it goes from there. See, the ATR right now is currently 21. Probably do double ATR. Around 40-point move. So there we go right there. His price continues to climb up. I'll probably do a 40-point move. Right, this is what I would do if I had the opportunity. 40-point move, of course. So I'm not in this position, but I just drew it up for you guys, for anybody who's looking to take. Again, like I said, I don't like trading, counter trend trading. The trend right now, I think, is bearish. So it's tricky because for me personally, I would be looking for a sell. But if you're trading, in between, obviously I'd be looking for a buy. But not really looking for anything here because there's no entries for me to take. It's too many red flags. We have news right here, news right here, news right here, news right here. And we have a bunch of sessions down here. So Steven said, Sean, I feel like I'm in math class right now. It's because you are, Steven. You are in math class. But all right, guys, I think this is going to be it for me. There's no entries here for me to take here because there's just too many red flags. So there's nothing for me to take, even if I wanted to. If I saw a good entry here, it'd be too hard for me to take anything because there's just no opportunity for me to hop into any trades. So I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. 7:45 right now. Today was a break-even day. We had one loss over here initially at 7:08, one win over here at 7:21. Pretty much break even. I just had to eat up a couple of the fees from commissions and spreads. So I pretty much I'm just negative 100 or negative 55 actually, which is not a big deal. I'll make it back once we once we hit that stride with some back-to-back wins, hopefully over the next couple of days. But all right, guys, I'm gonna call it a day. A day. There's just nothing else for me to take here. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I'll be back here tomorrow for the next live session. Tomorrow's NFP. Hopefully tomorrow will be a lot more directional and smooth so we can take some trades and then wrap this week up strong. So, all right, guys, if you guys have questions, reach out. Otherwise, see you guys here tomorrow, same place, same time for the next live session. So